The exhaustion has been real, and deep inside you know it. There have been seasons when you kept showing up even when your heart felt tired, seasons when you carried responsibilities, disappointments, and silent battles that nobody fully understood. There were moments when you wondered if all the waiting meant anything at all. You prayed, you hoped, you held on. Yet the answers seemed delayed, and the breakthrough you longed for appeared to remain just beyond reach. Still, despite everything, you continued moving forward. That alone says more about your strength than you realize. Many people only see the victories that happen in public, but some of the greatest victories happen quietly. They happen when a person refuses to give up after another disappointment. They happen when someone chooses faith over bitterness. They happen when a wounded heart continues to love, continues to care, and continues to believe that better days are possible. If that sounds familiar, then understand something important. The difficult season you have been walking through did not erase your value. It did not diminish your purpose. It did not cancel the good that still belongs in your future. In fact, many of the qualities that now define you were forged during moments you never would have chosen for yourself. Your patience was strengthened during delays. Your compassion grew through pain. Your wisdom expanded through experiences that tested you. Your resilience was built during nights when nobody knew how hard you were fighting, just to stay hopeful. You have carried burdens that few people ever noticed. You have smiled through struggles that many would never have recognized. You have continued to be kind, even after encountering rejection. Your kindness cost you more than most people will ever understand. Yet somehow, despite everything, there remains a light inside you that refuses to go out. That light matters. That perseverance matters. That faith matters. Sometimes the hardest part of the journey is not the challenge itself. Sometimes the hardest part is wondering whether the challenge will ever end. It is living in the space between prayer and answer. It is waking up day after day without visible evidence that anything is changing. It is trusting when circumstances offer little encouragement. But many breakthroughs arrive after long periods when nothing seems to be happening. Seeds spend time growing beneath the surface before anyone sees signs of life. Foundations are built underground before buildings rise into view. Growth often takes place in hidden places, long before it becomes visible. The same can be true in your life. Not every important change announces itself immediately. Not every answer arrives dramatically. Sometimes God is working in ways that cannot yet be measured by what you see. Sometimes the preparation is happening before the opportunity appears. Sometimes the healing is happening before the restoration arrives. Sometimes the breakthrough is approaching, even while circumstances still look unchanged. This is why you must never judge your future solely by your present moment. Your current season is not the entire story. The loneliness was not the entire story. The disappointment was not the entire story. The delay was not the entire story. There is more ahead than what is behind. There is more being written than what has already been experienced. You may not always feel strong, but the fact that you are still standing proves that strength has been present within you all along. The fact that you are still hoping proves that your spirit has not surrendered. The fact that you are still believing, even after setbacks, reveals a remarkable resilience that deserves recognition. Too often, people underestimate themselves because they focus on what has not happened yet. They overlook the incredible progress they have already made. They forget how many storms they survived. They forget how many obstacles they overcame. They forget how many times they got back up after being knocked down. Take a moment to recognize the truth. You have already endured things that once seemed impossible. You have already survived days that felt overwhelming. You have already demonstrated courage in situations that required tremendous emotional strength. The person you are today was shaped by every challenge you faced and every lesson you learned. Not every struggle you endured was meaningless. Some struggles revealed strengths you never knew you possessed. Some disappointments redirected you toward better paths. Some closed doors protected you from outcomes that would not have served your highest good. Looking back, there may be moments that still hurt. There may be wounds that are still healing. There may be questions that remain unanswered. Yet even in those places, your story continues. God saw the tears that nobody else noticed. God saw the prayers spoken in silence. God saw the moments when you felt invisible. God saw the sacrifices. God saw the effort. God saw the faithfulness. Nothing was overlooked. Nothing was forgotten. Sometimes people assume that because progress is slow, progress is absent. That is not always true. There are seasons when growth is happening quietly. There are seasons when healing is taking place beneath the surface. There are seasons when preparation is unfolding behind the scenes. Those seasons can feel frustrating because they require patience. Yet patience often produces results that rushing never could. You have been learning lessons that will serve you later. You have been developing qualities that will support you in future opportunities. You have been becoming someone capable of carrying blessings with wisdom and gratitude. The breakthrough you prayed for may not arrive exactly how you imagined. It may not follow the timeline you expected. It may not resemble the picture you created in your mind, but that does not mean it is absent. Sometimes the answer comes in a form that is even better suited for your growth and purpose. Sometimes what appears to be a delay is actually protection. Sometimes what feels like waiting is actually preparation. Sometimes what feels like stagnation is actually positioning. Through it all, your worth has remained unchanged. Your value has never depended on applause. Your significance has never depended on recognition. You are worth far more than the moments that tried to make you feel small. You are worth far more than the opinions that misunderstood you. You are worth far more than the disappointments that attempted to define you. Your story has value, even if it has not unfolded the way you expected. The challenges you faced did not remove your purpose. The setbacks did not erase your potential. The difficult seasons did not cancel your future. They were chapters, not conclusions. They were experiences, not identities. They were moments, not destinies. There is a strength within you that kept moving forward even on your darkest days. That strength is still there. It remains present right now. It remains capable of carrying you through whatever lies ahead. As you continue forward, remember that breakthroughs are often closer than they appear. Many people give up just before the season changes. Many people stop believing just before new opportunities emerge. Many people become discouraged just before the answer arrives. Continue holding on to hope. Continue recognizing the progress you have made. Continue honoring the resilience that brought you this far. The seasons that tested you were also shaping you. The moments that stretched your faith were also deepening your character. The challenges that seemed determined to break you were quietly revealing how much strength already existed within you. And although you may not yet see every piece of the picture, there is reason to believe that your story is moving towards something meaningful, something healing, and something good. The breakthrough you prayed for may be far closer than your tired heart currently realizes. The evidence is not found only in what is coming. The evidence is found in who you have become along the way. Your endurance matters, your faith matters, your kindness matters, your journey matters, and most importantly, you have not been forgotten. There were days when you looked around and wondered why life seemed to move more easily for everyone else. You watched people receive opportunities that you had prayed for. You saw doors open for others while your own remained closed. You witnessed celebrations while carrying disappointments that few people knew existed. In those moments, it was easy to feel overlooked. It was easy to question whether your efforts mattered. It was easy to wonder whether your faith was making any difference at all. Yet even during those difficult seasons, something remarkable was happening inside you. While circumstances tested your patience, they were also strengthening your character. While delays challenged your confidence, they were also teaching you endurance. While silence made you question the future, it was also creating a deeper kind of trust that could not be built during easy times. The truth is that some of the most valuable qualities a person can possess are formed during seasons that nobody would willingly choose. Wisdom often grows through hardship. Compassion often grows through pain. Strength often grows through resistance. The person you are becoming today is not the same person you were when this journey began. You have learned lessons that cannot be taught in classrooms. You have gained insight that only experience can provide. You have developed resilience that comes from surviving circumstances that once seemed impossible. There is something powerful about a person who continues to love after experiencing rejection. There is something powerful about a person who continues to hope after facing disappointment. There is something powerful about a person who refuses to become bitter, despite having many reasons to give up. That quiet strength has become part of who you are. Many people will never fully understand the battles you fought, because some of your greatest struggles happened in silence. They did not see the nights when you wrestled with doubt. They did not see the mornings when getting out of bed required tremendous effort. They did not see the private moments when you questioned yourself and still chose to keep moving forward. Yet those unseen victories count. Those hidden moments of courage matter. Some of your greatest victories happened quietly, when nobody was watching. The world often celebrates visible achievements, but heaven notices the unseen acts of perseverance that take place in ordinary moments. Every time you chose faith instead of despair, it mattered. Every time you chose kindness instead of resentment, it mattered. Every time you decided to continue despite feeling discouraged, it mattered. Those choices were shaping the foundation of the person you are today. Sometimes people assume that breakthrough means instant transformation. They imagine a single moment that changes everything overnight. While dramatic changes can happen, many breakthroughs begin long before they become visible. They begin when healing replaces hopelessness. They begin when peace replaces constant anxiety. They begin when a person starts recognizing their worth again after years of self-doubt. They begin when someone stops allowing past disappointments to determine future expectations. In many ways, breakthrough is not only about what enters your life, it is also about what leaves. Sometimes fear leaves, sometimes insecurity leaves, sometimes old wounds lose their power, sometimes limiting beliefs finally release their grip. As those things fade, new possibilities begin to emerge, new confidence begins to grow, new vision begins to develop, new hope begins to take root. This is why you should never underestimate the importance of internal growth. External opportunities are valuable, but inner transformation often creates the ability to fully receive and appreciate those opportunities when they arrive. You may not realize how much progress you have made because growth tends to happen gradually. Day by day, lesson by lesson, challenge by challenge, you have been changing. The person who once doubted whether they could survive certain seasons is now standing on the other side of them. The person who once felt completely overwhelmed has gained experience, perspective, and wisdom. The person who once feared they would never recover has continued moving forward. That matters more than you think. Sometimes people become so focused on reaching the next chapter that they fail to recognize the incredible distance they have already traveled. They overlook the courage it took simply to keep going. They overlook the healing that has already taken place. They overlook the progress that exists because it happened slowly. Yet slow progress is still progress. Quiet growth is still growth. Hidden preparation is still preparation. The fact that your journey has taken longer than expected does not mean it lacks purpose. In fact, many meaningful transformations require time. Deep roots are not developed overnight. Lasting wisdom is not gained instantly. Genuine emotional healing often unfolds through a process rather than a single event. God frequently works through seasons, not merely moments. This can be frustrating when your heart longs for immediate answers. Yet there is often significance in the process itself. The process develops maturity. The process reveals character. The process teaches lessons that become valuable later. Looking back one day, you may discover that some of the experiences you wanted to escape were also preparing you for blessings you could not yet see. You may realize that certain delays protected you from rushing into situations that would not have served your future. You may discover that periods of isolation taught you how to find strength within yourself. You may understand that some closed doors redirected you toward opportunities that were more aligned with your purpose. This does not mean the pain was easy. It does not mean the waiting was enjoyable. It simply means that difficult experiences can still produce meaningful outcomes. One of the greatest challenges during a long season of waiting is maintaining hope without visible evidence. Hope can feel fragile when expectations remain unmet. Yet hope becomes strongest when it survives difficult circumstances. Real hope is not based solely on what is happening around you. Real hope is rooted in the belief that your current situation is not your final destination. It is rooted in the understanding that difficult seasons are temporary, It is rooted in the conviction that your value remains intact regardless of circumstances. You are not defined by what you lost. You are not defined by who walked away. You are not defined by missed opportunities. You are not defined by delayed answers. You are not defined by the moments that made you question yourself. Your identity runs deeper than temporary experiences. Your worth exists independently of external validation. Your significance is not determined by recognition from others. Many people spend years searching for approval from individuals who were never qualified to determine their value in the first place. Yet the truth remains simple. You matter because you were created with purpose. You matter because your life carries meaning. You matter because your presence has value that cannot be measured by public recognition or worldly success. Sometimes the people who contribute the most are the very people who receive the least acknowledgement. They encourage others while carrying private burdens. They offer kindness while navigating personal pain. They continue showing up even when nobody notices their sacrifices. If this reflects part of your experience, then know that your efforts have not been meaningless. The compassion you shared mattered. The encouragement you offered mattered. The love you gave mattered. The faith you maintained mattered. Even when results seemed invisible, those things carried significance. There is beauty in the fact that you remained yourself despite everything that tried to change you. Life could have made you hard. It could have made you cynical. It could have convinced you that kindness was weakness. Yet here you are, still caring, still believing, still hoping. That is not weakness. That is extraordinary strength. The breakthrough you prayed for is not simply about circumstances improving. It is also about recognizing how far you have come. It is about understanding that the journey itself has produced growth worth celebrating. It is about realizing that your perseverance has already created victories that deserve acknowledgement. And as you continue moving forward, there is reason to believe that brighter days are ahead. Not because life is suddenly perfect, not because challenges will never appear again, but because you have become stronger, wiser, and more resilient than you were before. You have survived enough to know that difficult seasons do not last forever. You have endured enough to understand that pain is not permanent. You have grown enough to recognize that setbacks are not the end of the story. God has not forgotten you. Your journey still matters. Your future still holds possibilities. Your faith still carries purpose. And the breakthrough that once felt impossibly distant may be closer than you think, quietly approaching with each step you continue to take. The most difficult part about carrying a long-held prayer is not always the waiting itself. Often it is the gradual temptation to lower your expectations, to protect your heart from disappointment by convincing yourself that nothing will ever change. It happens slowly. After enough delays, enough setbacks, enough moments when life fails to unfold the way you hoped, a person can begin expecting less from the future than they once did. Dreams become quieter. Anticipation becomes cautious. Hope becomes guarded. Yet there is a reason your spirit has continued holding on, even when your circumstances provided very little encouragement. There is a reason you never completely stopped believing that something meaningful could still happen. There is a reason that despite all the disappointments, a part of you still looks toward tomorrow with expectation. That part of you has survived every difficult season for a reason. It has survived every setback, every rejection, every lonely chapter, and every unanswered question. It has survived because there is something within you that refuses to accept that your story is finished. The truth is that many people never see the full impact of what they have overcome because they become accustomed to carrying it. They forget how heavy the burden once felt. They forget how deeply certain experiences wounded them. They forget how impossible some situations once appeared. What now seems normal to you may have completely overwhelmed an earlier version of yourself. The fact that you are still here, still moving forward, still seeking purpose, is evidence of growth that deserves recognition. The fact that you are still capable of caring, still capable of believing, still capable of dreaming, reveals a strength that cannot be measured by outward appearances alone. There are people who look strong because life has been easy. Then there are people who look ordinary but carry extraordinary strength because they have survived things that tested every part of them. You belong to the second group. You know what it means to continue despite uncertainty. You know what it means to remain faithful during silence. You know what it means to keep showing up when results seem absent. Those experiences have created a depth within you that cannot be manufactured. They have produced wisdom that only comes through endurance. They have developed compassion that only comes through understanding pain. One day you may discover that some of your greatest contributions to others come directly from the struggles you once wished would disappear. The comfort you offer will carry weight because you understand suffering. The encouragement you provide will feel genuine because you have experienced discouragement yourself. The hope you share will be believable because you learned how to hold on to hope during difficult seasons. Nothing you endured has been entirely wasted. Even the painful chapters contain lessons, perspective, and strength that continue serving a purpose. Sometimes when people think about breakthrough, they imagine receiving something they have lacked. They think about opportunities, relationships, healing, restoration, peace, or renewed direction. Those things are meaningful. Yet there is another aspect of breakthrough that often receives less attention. It is the moment when a person finally realizes that they are stronger than they thought. It is the moment when they stop viewing themselves through the lens of their wounds and begin recognizing the resilience that carried them through those wounds. It is the moment when they stop measuring their value according to what happened to them and start understanding their worth apart from those experiences. Perhaps one of the greatest gifts waiting ahead is a deeper awareness of your own value, not a prideful awareness, but a healthy one. A recognition that you are not defined by rejection. A recognition that your worth does not fluctuate based on how others respond to you. A recognition that your life possesses meaning even during seasons when progress feels slow. So much of your journey has involved continuing without recognition. You have done the right thing when nobody applauded. You have remained faithful when nobody noticed. You have chosen integrity when shortcuts seemed easier. Those choices matter. Character formed in private eventually becomes strength that supports every area of life. While others were focused solely on appearances, you were developing substance. While others were seeking immediate rewards, you were learning patience. While others were building their lives on temporary foundations, you were developing qualities that last. The rewards of those investments are not always immediate, but they are real. One reason your breakthrough may be closer than you think is because many of the necessary foundations have already been established. Lessons have been learned. Growth has occurred. Healing has progressed. Perspective has expanded. The preparation that once felt invisible has been taking place all along. It may not have looked dramatic. It may not have felt exciting. Yet preparation rarely receives the attention that fulfillment receives. People celebrate outcomes while overlooking the years of growth that made those outcomes possible. You have been living through part of that preparation. You have been becoming someone capable of carrying greater responsibility, greater wisdom, greater peace, and greater purpose. There were moments when you felt forgotten, but you were being formed. There were moments when you felt overlooked, but you were growing. There were moments when you questioned whether anything was changing, but important changes were happening within you. God often works deeply before he works visibly. The roots develop before the fruit appears. The foundation is strengthened before the structure rises. The preparation unfolds before the opportunity becomes clear. This is why appearances can be misleading. What looks like delay may actually be development. What looks like inactivity may actually be preparation. What looks like silence may actually be a season of important work taking place beneath the surface. If you could see the entire picture, you might recognize progress in places where you currently see only waiting. You might notice growth where you currently see delay. You might recognize purpose where you currently see uncertainty. Until then, faith continues serving an important role. Faith allows you to move forward without possessing every answer. Faith allows you to trust that difficult seasons are not permanent. Faith allows you to believe that your story contains more chapters than the one you are currently experiencing. Through every challenge, one truth has remained constant. You have never been abandoned. You have never been forgotten. You have never been invisible to God. Every prayer mattered. Every tear mattered. Every effort mattered. Every act of perseverance mattered. Even when nobody else understood what you were carrying, God understood. Even when nobody else noticed your struggle, God noticed. Even when nobody else recognized your effort, God saw it. That truth has sustained countless people through difficult seasons, and it remains true today. The future may still contain unknowns, but it also contains possibilities. It contains opportunities that have not yet appeared. It contains moments of healing that have not yet arrived. It contains blessings that have not yet been experienced. Most importantly, it contains chapters that have not yet been written. Do not allow temporary circumstances to convince you that they represent the final outcome. Your current situation is a chapter, not the conclusion. Your present struggle is a season, not your identity. Your past disappointments are experiences, not predictions about what comes next. The fact that you are still standing says more about your strength than you realize. The fact that you are still believing says more about your faith than you realize. The fact that you are still moving forward says more about your resilience than you realize. You have come too far to overlook the significance of your journey now. You have survived too much to underestimate your own strength. You have learned too much to believe that your struggles were entirely without purpose. As you move into the days ahead, carry this truth with you. Your kindness matters, your endurance matters, your patience matters, your faith matters, your story matters. The difficult seasons did not define your destiny. They helped shape your character. They helped reveal your strength. They helped prepare you for what comes next. And although you may not know exactly how or when every answer will arrive, there is genuine reason for hope. The breakthrough you prayed for is closer than you think. Not because life suddenly becomes perfect, but because you have been growing toward it all along. Every step, every lesson, every challenge, and every act of perseverance has been moving you forward. The future remains unwritten, but one thing is certain. You are stronger than you know, more valuable than you realize, and far more prepared for what lies ahead than you currently understand.